Welcome to the DoubleACS Daily News for March 18, 2016. On Monday, Governor Baker signed into law a bill aimed at stemming the prescription opioid epidemic. The bill was passed unanimously by the House and Senate and includes a number of measures affecting everywhere from hospitals and pharmacies to schools. We spoke with Attleboro State Representative Paul Heroux to learn more about the measure.
The bill that the legislature passed recently was something that is about 42 pages long, has over 70 sections to the bill. It covers different things that concern the police, hospitals, pharmacies, schools. It's a pretty comprehensive bill. One of the provisions of the bill requires insurance companies to not seek pre-authorization for a drug evaluation. Insurance companies are required to cover drug evaluations and drug treatment, whereas sometimes they previously weren't. Another provision of the bill involves the manner in which hospitals are required to keep people up to 24 hours to do a drug screening for somebody who came in on a suspected overdose. And if they do not keep somebody for 24 hours or that evaluation's not done within 24 hours, it has to be documented why. There's also some provisions in the bill that talk about the need for police officers to be, trained on the Good Samaritan law. Schools have to come up with a drug treatment prevention plan that would require that schools have a verbal drug screening, with the students, at two different points during their academic career, basically every couple of years. But that is something that is subject to, appropriation, so it may not take effect. There's a 7-day limit for first-time opioid prescriptions, and that 7-day limit can be waived for people who have chronic pain, cancer-related pain, acute medical conditions. For minors, though, that's pretty much always going to be a 7-day limit. Another provision is something that pharmacists were already doing in practice, but now is being codified into law, and that is it would allow a patient to basically say they don't want a full 30-day prescription to be filled. It would basically, they could say, just give me 5 days worth of the painkiller as opposed to a full, 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks worth. That's something that they can now do. One of the provisions of the bill that I was really happy to see was that doctors are now required to get additional training in alternatives to opioid-related prescriptions, and they also need to basically document why they're prescribing an opioid as opposed to one of the listed alternatives to an opioid. That's another step in the right direction, because there's a lot of kind of sentiment, a lot of belief that the heroin epidemic stems from the overprescribing of opioids. And right or wrong, this actually does help clamp down a little bit on some of what some people call kind of loose practices that doctors have been giving the painkillers out with. This is one of the better bills I've seen that the House pass. Some of the bills that we pass kind of tinker on the margins of stuff, but this particular bill really does get to the heart of a lot of what's driving this opioid epidemic. Now, this bill was a pretty comprehensive bill. I was pretty happy with the bill. Like I said earlier, it covered a lot of different areas, from police to schools to hospitals, doctors. It covers, drug advisory boards, pharmacists. It covers a lot of different areas of, so it's like I said, 42 pages. You've got a lot of good stuff in there. Some stuff will make more of a difference than others, but it's good to have a nice comprehensive bill. And it passed unanimously, and the governor was chomping at the bit to sign this. So it was something that took elements from the House, from the Senate, and from the governor's office.
That's it for today's update. For DoubleACS News, I'm Austin Ricketts.